guys, Megan here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing a super special video to me. I'm going to be talking about why I love the University of Virginia and why I'm so excited for the next 2 more years that I have left there. I can't even believe I'm going to be a 3rd year. I wanted to make this video for all those high school seniors who are either deciding on school right now or juniors who are just looking at schools, probably very confused right now. I know for me it was very pivotal when I went to the Days on the Lawn at UVA, and that's when I decided that I wanted to go there. And so I don't know where I would be if I hadn't gone to that. So I really just wanted to make this video to talk about my experience, kind of how I've seen things, why I love it so much, and also a couple cons too, because that's very valid. And I'm also answering some questions at the end that you guys had, I asked on my Instagram. If you guys are wondering how I got to UVA, whether it be my application process or, you know, my experience going through that, I actually already have a video about that, so I will leave that down below and up in the cards. And this video is going to be mostly about like why I love UVA, my experience there, especially first year. I know a lot of people are wondering about that. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Megan. I'm a 2nd year student. I am studying commerce in the McIntyre School. I actually just got in, so that's very exciting. I'm thinking of concentrating in marketing, maybe management, maybe IT. I don't know what else, but yeah, I am originally from Virginia, so I am an in-state student, so that has been very nice. I don't live too far from Charlottesville, so that's also really nice too. If you guys want to see more of like a day-to-day of what my life looks like, definitely check out my day in my life videos. A couple of them are really popular, which is interesting. And this year I actually lived in an off-grounds apartment, so that's definitely been cool. People love the moving vlog, so if you're into that, go watch that. But yeah, I also did a dorm tour. Why am I talking about this? No one cares. Okay. For those of you who don't know about UVA, it is a public university located in Charlottesville, Virginia. We are the national champions in basketball, if you were unaware. The reigning national champions, because there wasn't a game this year, so. Anyways, that's besides the point. There's about 17,000 undergraduate students, and I believe the acceptance rate is around 30%. 32.5 for in-state and 15.4 for out-of-state, so definitely harder to get in out-of-state. Not sure if I would have, but whatever. UVA has 7 different undergraduate schools, 5 of which you apply into when you apply to UVA. You have to apply into one of them. Most people apply into the College of Arts and Sciences, by far the most popular. It's where most of bio and like chem and English and all that stuff. It's under Arts and Sciences. There's also nursing school, architecture school, which is we call the A school, engineering school, which we call E school, and there's also the Curry School of Education and Kinesiology. Those are like the 5 schools that you can apply into. So you apply into those 5 schools, you get accepted to those schools, and so depending on which school you apply to, it's either easier or harder to get in. It's not like an exact science, but it's definitely harder for people to get in, I think, to like E school and nursing and stuff like that versus arts and sciences, just kind of like the catch-all for most people. You can transfer between schools. It's definitely easier the earlier you do it. I know people have like transferred into nursing, but then they have to stay an extra year, so I definitely don't know too much about that, so ask someone else. And then your 2nd year, you have the opportunity to apply into 2 other schools, which is the McIntyre School of Commerce, which I'm a part of now. You can also apply into the Batten School of Public Policy and Leadership, which is really cool if you're into like policy and government and stuff like that. I have a couple friends who are doing that next year for the next 2 years, and they're really excited about that. I was actually thinking about doing that, and then wrote a policy memo and realized that was not for me. One thing I've really liked about my time at UVA has been my ability to try out a bunch of different classes. I've really enjoyed taking different classes in different disciplines to see if I like them. I took a policy class because I thought I wanted to do Batten. Realized very quickly I did not. That's just good because then I figured that out before I actually would have like gotten in or done it, or you know what I mean. So yeah, I've determined I don't want to be a stats major, don't want to be an econ major, don't want to be a Batten major. Quite a few things I've kind of kicked off the list, which is how I got to come. I enjoyed those classes the most, and that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna hit on 5 different topics of like the pros or what I've enjoyed about UVA. The first of which is that it's a college town. Charlottesville is definitely like a town of its own. That's great, especially the further you get away from grounds, especially right by the UVA grounds on the corner. I can insert a picture here. It's where everyone like eats, goes out. It's like the main area. So it runs right behind the rotunda, and then beyond that are all the frat houses, the sorority houses, a lot of apartments, and then on the other side is grounds. It's kind of like a good divide between the two. It's kind of like the middle center where everyone meets up. Most of the people on the corner during the week are students or professors or faculty, and on the weekend there's generally like families and dogs and stuff, which is cool too. But I feel like Charlottesville, like that little area, is very much based around the university, which I've loved, but it's definitely not so small town that we don't have like a Target or anything. Our Target is really far away. We have like Walmart, a bunch of restaurants, local and chain, which is awesome. There's lots of different things to do in Charlottesville. One of the main reasons I chose UVA was because of its prestigious academics. I believe it's in the top 5 of public universities in the nation. There's just so many opportunities there to do research, to, you know, just really get like some real world experience, great connections. I originally came into college thinking that I was going to major in political philosophy and law, which is the PPL major. Obviously I'm not. I was drawn to McIntyre at the end of my first semester. I think the opportunities and the connections that UVA has provided me so far and will continue to provide me, especially in McIntyre, will just lead to setting me up really well in life. Obviously you have to go out there and make those connections, but they just have so many resources to help you and so many unique opportunities. Part of it is actually going to events when they offer them, and so we have so many great events, and obviously you can't go to every single one, but just using those as opportunities to meet people, hear speakers. We do a TEDx conference or whatever, and I went to that last year. I actually filmed for it for one of my clubs, but it was so cool, and it's just one of those things that I would have never like thought to go to. I got to meet some really cool people. Editing this video right now, and I'm realizing I'm talking a lot about like opportunities and meeting people and networking and like getting out there, which is so funny because I honestly don't even do that often, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I have gone to some of those events like I talked about, and it's one of those things where like you know that they're there, but you need to like actually go to them. I'm gonna focus less on the meeting people and more on like the opportunities that like UVA has provided me. That is something else that I wanted to touch on in this video that I just can't believe I didn't even mention, is the amount of clubs that UVA has. It's some outrageous number that they always talk about on tours. When I came to UVA first semester, I didn't join anything. I didn't do anything because it was extremely overwhelming to me. But second semester, I got very involved with WUVA, and I'm still involved. They are a student-run media organization, and right now I am the lifestyle director in their culture department, which has been really fun. But I'm also a member of Madison House, and I do tutoring through them. I tutor 4th grade students. They're so cute. I miss them. I help them with their math, but I also tried out an all-women finance club for a semester, so like that just kind of goes to show that like there's just so many different things available for you, whether you're interested in like a faith group or like an academic group, or there's obviously social groups. I'm a member of Greek Life, like I mentioned later on in the video. Like, I just want to make it known that like a lot of people are involved in a lot of different things, and that is something else that drew me to UVA, which doesn't really fall under any given category, but I just want to point that out. Obviously, prestige is not everything, but for me, I really wanted to go to a place where I would be challenged by those around me and kind of be inspired by them and see what they're doing. And something else that I've really loved about my time at UVA is that even if a bunch of people don't have the same interests, I feel like a lot of my friends and I are studying a bunch of different things. This passion that everyone has about what they're studying or what they're doing or this club they're involved in is just so inspiring. And so like you want to go out and like find something that you're excited about too. I will say it's a very competitive school in some aspects. Like, I feel like some clubs you have to apply to be in them. Obviously, some of the schools that you apply to either outright or in the 2 years that you're there are very competitive, and so that definitely puts a strain on things. And I think that that's one of the traits about UVA that I don't love. For me, I love competition in the sense that it helps me to be better, but to a point. I feel like sometimes it's overblown. With the prestigious academics and, you know, always like grinding and like doing your work and whatever, one thing that I love about UVA culture most of the time is the work hard, play hard mentality. I feel like that is very much how I function. I have the weekend to look forward to if I get my work done. It's like a motivator for me. For some people, I think it's not as healthy because they like push themselves so hard and then continue to push themselves throughout the weekend, but obviously everything in moderation. Another thing that's been really interesting here is the social life. First semester, first year was definitely a little tough on the social scene, but second semester I joined a sorority, which is Chi O. If you guys haven't seen my videos before, I actually did a couple Rush videos back, I guess this year and the year before. But anyways, besides the point, one of the fun things that's come from that is either hanging out with your PC on like a Friday night, or also we have a couple date functions or formals every semester. So we have 2 or 3 date functions and a formal, which is awesome. That's like a super fun time to bring a date, hang out with your friends. Like, it's just really fun. I've also made a ton of friends through that, and so that just kind of gives you more people to hang out with on the weekend. You can infer what you want. If you are a person who like doesn't like to go out or party or anything like that, I think that there's definitely a community here for you too, and that's something I really want to emphasize because I feel like a lot of times, especially if you visit like on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon, like when darties are happening, that's just like a subsection of the population, and while it is like a lot of people, it's not everyone. There's like 17,000 undergraduates here. Everyone's doing something at all times. You can definitely find a community where you guys can do other things. I mean, there's so many fun things to do in Charlottesville besides drink. Like, I don't know, it's just like not the only option. So this summer I'm thinking of making a separate video all about first year at UVA, but basically the overview was that I lived in Dabney, which is one of the renovated old dorms. You can watch my dorm tour. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. Definitely go watch that if you're wondering what like a first year dorm looks like. First semester was a little hard for me, especially academically getting adjusted, but after that I met some of my best friends. My hall was really close and that was awesome. My biggest advice is to just say yes to everything. You only have like that dorm experience one time, and so I think just like make the best of it, especially now with this whole corona thing. Like, you don't know what the future is gonna hold, so just like make use of every single day, hang out with your hallmates. It's just so, I miss it. I'm gonna make a first year video this summer, but obviously you would have accepted by then, so just let me know. So another thing to me that's really defined my experience at UVA, especially last year, is school spirit. I mean, honestly, like after winning the Natty Champs and leading up to that, I just felt so, I don't know, like it was just so awesome. It was one of the best experiences of my life, hands down. The night that we won the Natty Champs and Final Four, those two nights were hands down my best nights in college. Like, just the best. It was amazing. It was so cool, like rushing the corner with everyone. I just feel like the spirit of people is just so awesome, especially like the professors and faculty are really into it too. Like, I feel like everyone just really gets amped up about like sporting events and just like UVA in general, so I love that. So I came up with two cons, and I've kind of mentioned a few cons throughout the video, one of which is the airport situation. I do not live far from Charlottesville, so I don't really have to worry about this, but for my friends who are from Florida or New York or Jersey or anything like that, the Charlottesville airport is pretty tiny, and so the only downfall with that is that it's about 30 minutes away from ground, so it's either an expensive Uber ride or a long time for a friend to drive you. It's at least an hour round trip, and also usually you have to take like connecting flights and stuff to get home. Not always, but usually that's the case. Just keep that in mind, but also like don't let that deter you. Another more important slash pertinent thing is safety. I say this with a grain of salt because it's not UVA that I think is unsafe, because actually every time that I'm on grounds at night or walking alone or anything like that, I feel very safe. There's ambassadors, that's what we call them. I think the university hires them, and they just kind of keep an eye on everything, and there's a lot of different options to like make sure that you're safe at night. We do like Safe Ride or Yellow Cab, and basically it's like free Uber. There's also Uber and Lyft in Charlottesville, very prevalent. Once you get past a certain area behind the corner, or the closer you get to certain areas near the hospital, it's a little fringy, especially at night, and especially as a girl walking around by yourself. You just have to be aware of your surroundings, and if you're ever like feeling unsafe, there's resources for you to call or friends to call when you walk home, anything like that. But just wanted to say, just be careful, that's all I'm saying. I got some questions on my Instagram about UVA, and so I wanted to answer a few of them just to kind of give you guys some clarity about either the application process or whatever questions are about. I've read through some of them. Emma asked, how was the application process and process for finding housing / a roommate? I touched on the application process in that other video, but for finding a roommate, I went on Facebook. We had a University of Virginia 2022 page. Usually each class makes one. They just kind of appear, I don't know. You join them. I posted pictures of myself and like some cringy bio or whatever about like what I like. I don't know. Basically, I found my roommate Emma. I liked her profile, thought it was funny. We talked for a little while. I actually talked to a lot of people. It felt like I was on like Tinder or something. I felt like speed dating. We were roommates first year. We were also roommates this year, and it worked out for me really well. That's how most of my friends found theirs. For housing, you just rank hall style, suite style, and then you can put a triple on there too. I don't know many people who ranked that. And then there's also a single, but like if you get a single at UVA, it's like so far away, and also like the whole experience is living with someone else. I ended up living in a hostel dorm, but you don't get to pick where you live within that. I know a lot of schools you get to pick. We did not get to pick. I just randomly got put in Dabney, which was one of the best things, both for walking wise, like it was so close to everything, and also the people. It was awesome. I got another question. Did you always know you wanted to join Greek life, and did you move in early for Rush? So we actually rush in the spring, so I guess I came back early for that, back like a week early. I feel like I always kind of knew I wanted to rush. It's like totally up my alley, both the rush process and being in a sorority. Plus I wanted to meet some more people. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we had 36 people from my high school go to UVA, so wanted to branch out, love them, but you know, wanted some new friends too, and I thought that that was a really good opportunity for it. Olivia asked, are subject tests needed to get into UVA? No, but I actually submitted 2, I think. I don't know. I don't even think that that helped me, so I wouldn't do it. I actually got 2 questions about this. Is the food really that bad? The food, I mean, it's not bad. There's definitely like ways to hack it and stuff, and I think I'm gonna talk about that more in my first year tips video. Once you figure out how to hack it and like how to get like certain meals, it's fine. I found that I was eating a lot of the same things. Like, do not ask me how many times I had stir fry last year or a quesadilla. Like, what's awesome is that if you do get tired of it, there's always the corner. There's so many food options in the corner. That definitely saved me from going insane. But I will say I don't have the meal plan this year, so. I didn't even answer the question though. The food isn't like that bad. I think you just have to be like wise about what you eat. Like I wasn't a big fan of like the eggs. They all have like sandwich stations and stuff, so I had those a lot because that felt very safe to me. Certain things I feel like you kind of just like figure out what you do and don't like. Someone else also asked, is UVA full of studi people like everyone says? So, yes and no. I think first year that was a big adjustment for me, like just realizing how some people are a little too full of themselves and think that just because they have money, they're better than you. I think there's definitely pockets of people like that at UVA, but also overwhelmingly, I feel like that's not the case. I think it just depends who you're hanging out with. And I think if you just make the right friends and avoid those who act like that, because I think that's ridiculous, then you should be fine. Just some people are so up their own ass. Claire asked, do people live in the UVA sororities? Yes, I am actually living in the Cayo house next year, which I'm so excited about. Most people live there if they are 3rd year or in the 3rd year PC. There's a couple people in our PC who are actually 4th years next year. They'll be living in the house too, and I'm so excited. I'm living with my friends Shannon and Clara, so shout out to them. Grace asked, what stood out to you about UVA versus other schools? And I've kind of touched on this throughout the whole video. I really felt at home when I went to the days on the lawn. So like during the tour, I loved it. My tour guide was amazing. He was actually the 3rd year class president at the time. During days on the lawn, they actually showed you more about what it was actually like to be a student there. They took you through the dining halls, you went to the dorms, you got to see a couple rooms. It was just really cool to like actually see what it was like and not just like the tour. Mostly for me, it was just the feeling that I had. I feel like that's the worst answer to that question, because as a high school senior, I was like, what do you mean? Like the feeling, like what the heck? Like you're not falling in love, but what do you know? I had the feeling too, so what you gonna do? I'm sure this video is like 2 hours long, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed. If you have any more questions about UVA or my experience or anything like that, please leave them down below. Definitely subscribe if you're new for more like college and lifestyle videos. Hopefully, dear God, hopefully we will be back to filming the college days in life. Come fall 2020, we need to get the corona over with. They need to come back. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.